Good morning, everyone. Gary Webb here, New Mexico, with another We Do, meaning how we do it. Today's We Do is going to be how we get the most out of a pack animal, whether it's a mule or a horse, and focus on tying a hitch. There's a lot of information out there, a million different ways to pack stuff, and as I stress in all of these how-to videos, this is just how we do it, what's worked for us. And I see a lot of folks out there that maybe only have a couple of animals and they struggle getting their stuff into camp, whether they're going on a hunting trip or a pack trip, and maybe just hang some panniers on and call it good. Well, with just a little bit more effort, you can carry some more luxuries and have a more pleasant trip and make it work just better all around. I'm taking the rear arm around on I've never really used them, but maybe saddle panniers is an option if you've only got a couple animals, and you could lead your horse and another pack animal into camp and then have them there to ride. I've never really used them, but I think you gotta load them while they're on the animal, whereas with the panniers we usually build our loads on the ground and then hang them on there. But it's an option for a lot of folks. So yeah, when you're considering packing up to go somewhere, you're concerned about weight and bulk, and a lot of times the weight may not be that much, but the bulk gets you, and vice versa. And I think a lot of folks, they may only have 100 pounds of stuff in their bags all together, and you could put more gear, a little more time, and that's what we're gonna focus on today. Yeah, there's a lot of different types of panniers. We'll go through this real quick today and maybe get into some better detail down the road. But here's some canvas panniers that we use. Julie made these. And I might mention, all canvas is not created equal, but these work real good. And there is no adjustment in the straps, but she made them where they'd fit our animals. One side we always put a strap on to go over the top pack. Here's another set of panniers that we bought, a lot lighter canvas, smaller in general. These do have an adjustment in the straps where you can let it out or pick it up. They're a little bit small for general camping, but they work real good for packing meat, elk quarters, water jugs, horse feed, but that's another type of pannier. Another type that we use sometimes, we made up these ice chest carriers, which you can carry some cold stuff if you want. It's a possibility of carrying cold stuff on one side and maybe dry goods on the other side, and this is where you can start adding gear on top of this. You know, if this was just 50 pounds, 40 pounds on each side, you could put quite a bit more stuff on here if you chose to, with just a little more effort. Yeah, loading these soft panniers, we usually prefer, for the most part, keeping them in little bags, dry bags, duffel bags, and try to minimize the the small loose items, but you can have a little bit of that in these. We usually try to put the heavier items in the bottom and the lighter ones on the top, and try to fill all the voids so it's kind of a tight package, and have them about the same bulk size wise on both sides. Seems to work well, but we'll get into more detail in that down the road. Another option is these pack boxes, and this is a homemade variety that's curved to fit the animal's sides. They're not real heavy, and with this style we do load loose items in there. I mean, you could dump some half a sack of feed in the bottom and put jet boils, canned goods, Mountain House bread, and it doesn't get all smashed up. And there are some store-bought hard pack boxes you can get that we have a set of also that works pretty well. Yeah, and we also got a set of these boxes. They're kind of beat up, that we keep for any of you that's got a horse or mule that tries to rub their pack off on trees and brush. We'll put a set of these on, and once they bang into a few trees, it works great for keeping them to try to rubbing your pack off. So something you might keep in mind as well. One last type of pannier that we've always liked to use is I think they call them a Utah pannier. They're a canvas pannier, kind of like a box, except they're canvas, and they got a dowel right here with a lid, and you can pack them up kind of like a pack box, and then stack stuff on top of them as well. And a lot of folks now, they make a synthetic iron cloth, I think they call it, pannier, that I see quite a few people use. They're a little bit cheaper than canvas, and a lot of people like them pretty well also. I think everybody realizes that you want to keep these even as you can when you're loading them. Same amount of weight on both sides. That's super important when you're packing this stuff. And a lot of folks may not know this, that the lighter packs are actually harder to balance than the heavier packs a lot of times. And best way I can explain this is, if you have 75 pounds in this on this side and 70 pounds on that side, you got about 5 pounds of difference, and it's significant. I mean, a 7-pound rifle will pull your saddle a little bit crooked, so it's significant. But after you're on your way out and coming out of camp, ate all the food, drank all the water, used all the horse feed, and you're dealing with really light packs, and maybe this side is only 20 pounds and this side is 25 pounds, still 5 pounds different, but the percentage of difference is quite a bit more. So you got to be cautious even on the light packs to get them balanced out good. So one other thing I might mention when you're loading pack boxes or panniers, you want to not stack all the canned goods on one side. You want to spread it out where the weight's kind of even across the bottom there, the best you can also. And I see some people out there that they get panniers and they're actually just too big. You can get panniers too big trying to carry more stuff where you don't have to tie a top pack, but you can get them too big, and they might get up here and rub them on the shoulder here, and you also don't want them hanging real low. They should be up kind of on the sides of the animals. Yeah, one last thing, if you're just going yourself and you're bringing all the gear, you can kind of preload these things at home. We always load them first and then hang them on the animal, and you can pick them up, check the weight, use a scale. You know, and a lot of times packing other people's gear, or I'm meeting a buddy that's bringing some of the stuff. But yeah, we'll spread everything out on a tarp and start building a load that way, and check the weight and figure out what we're going to put on in the bags, what we're going to use as a top pack here. It seems to make it go a little easier. Okay, the hitch we're going to really go over today is the double diamond hitch, and it is tailor-made for tall packs. If you just have this and a couple items, I usually tie something else. So this hitch is for when you have these big, tall Taj Mahal packs. This double diamond is the go-to hitch. It sucks that stuff down good. We go on some pretty steep country, rough trails, and it works really well. So that's the one we're going to be showing you today. And real quick before we get started, I was going to talk about what we use for pack ropes. We've been using this type of rope for a pack rope. It's kind of almost like rappelling rope, only cheaper. It's got some kind of core over a hollow feel deal, and they've worked really good for us. We've been using these probably 20 years. There's no stretch in them. It's the best we've found for lasting and getting tight without a lot of stretch. Can get a little rough on your hands. The other types we've used is grass, hemp, and it works really well. It doesn't last real long. It wears out pretty quick, so we kind of quit using that and went with this stuff here. Seems to work the best for us. We've also used cotton, and it works real good. There's not much stretch in it, and it gets tight and wears better than grass. Thing I didn't like about cotton pack ropes is when it rains, they're a sponge and they just soak it up. Sometimes it's hard to get stuff loose. And the last thing I might mention is we preferred the smaller diameter ropes. If you get these real big, 3/4 inch, it's hard to get stuff tight, and didn't work as well for us. So anyhow, a few thoughts on types of material for pack ropes. Yeah, when you're hanging these panniers or boxes, whatever you got, it's a lot easier if you got a helper. But when you do it, we usually set one on both sides of the animals. You don't want to hang one and have to walk over there 50 yards and carry another one over, because this is going to be pulling on this side. So we hang it, walk around, hang the other one, and that way it's not pulling the saddle to one side or the other. And you try to get them setting evenly on your animal, not real lopsided before you start building your top pack. That's pretty important as well. So yeah, as you're building these loads, you can do whatever configuration you want here. I could throw a chair up here, maybe a table on the other side, maybe a grill right in here. Whatever works for you, whatever you feel like you need. I'm going to throw a couple of big old cowboy bedrolls up here, because the focus really today is to learn this hitch, and you can practice on what you really need to carry with you, but you can do all kinds of stuff up here on top. All right, we'll throw our simulated top pack up here and get going. Back tarp. One disadvantage with a lot of stuff is you can't really see your sawbuck saddle. We try to do that, but sometimes you get so much stuff that you can't see it, so you just got to watch your boxes to see if they're lisping one side or the other. So we're getting some pretty good brush. We try to keep this tarp pretty even down the sides, but we're not going to get real carried away with the tarp placement because I wanted to get through this hitch without making this video too terribly long. So uncoil my rope, hold this end, and I'll throw the pack rope over. Try to get in the center of the box here, and since I'm by myself, I will check it on this side, keeping it in the center as well, and pass this under the animal, hook towards the back, and we will pull it up snug. You're almost gonna have to come back and tighten this at some point. So for learning purposes, we're not going to get it real tight to begin with. Throw this over to the other side. It can be loose. Check that we're in the middle. Still looks good. And we will run this tail right through the ring here on the bottom and fish it all the way through like so, and pull this just a little bit snug, and then we'll start our twist. I just hold this tail and we come up just as high as we can and make about 3 twists. Usually works pretty well, keeping it as high as you can, and then we will come right up through around the corner of this box, and make sure you don't get into these blankets, between the box and the blankets, and get it just a little bit snug. Come through this twist up here and get the tail pulled all the way through. Keeping that up somewhat high, and get the slack out of it. Now we will pass that over old Hank's head back to this side of the animal. And we will do the same thing. Make at least 3 twists again. As high up here as we can. We'll take this tail and come through. Pull it snug. We'll come around under the box like we did the other side, between the box and the panniers. All the way around on through. Just snug. Come up from there, and I usually try to put this pack rope where it's going to go. If you put it like this, it's probably going to pop off. So just put it where it's going to probably wind up to begin with, and it'll save you a little aggravation. Back through these twists, you can see the diamonds starting to form. Pull it where it's kind of even, and then you will take this around this top load and back into your diamond. Snug it up. I'm going to catch this corner of the box. I think it'll stay there. Come back underneath here. I'm going to pull this tarp out of the way. so it wad up, and we're going to come back into this ring and just temporarily tie it off just to hold what you got. We're going to go back through everything and tighten this up. Get this up on top of this box. Getting the slack out of it. Come around to this side. Getting the slack out of this side. Pulling the slack out of this side. I'm going to catch this little handle right here and the top of the box. Getting it tight. Coming around our load here. Back into the diamond here. Over the top of the box. Undo our little hooey here. Keeping this snug. Tie it off. It's pretty tight. And lastly, we will just want to get this loop. I got it a little bit long. I'd shorten this up if I wasn't doing this video. So we'll just take it up something like so. And then we pull it up out of the way so it's not catching on any stobs or anything. And keep it out of the way. But you can really stack the stuff up here, guys. It works really great. The other good thing about this hitch is if you wanted to carry an axe, where I grabbed a shovel here, you can actually fish it right down through this deal, like so. So anyhow, that's the finished product there. We use this double diamond. Basically, we use two hitches, the double diamond and a box hitch. And once in a blue moon, we'll do just a diamond hitch. But I don't really like it because you got to reach some stuff on top. And sometimes it's hard to reach. But occasionally we'll use that. It doesn't take as long a pack rope. But this is our go-to for big, tall, bulky packs. So hopefully this was helpful. And we'll have a whole bunch more packing information down the road. So y'all have a great day.